So we have breaking news. The White House is looking to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. That's the subject of today's show. And this is coming from NPR. The White House and Hegseth are going to deny these claims, of course, but effectively there is another scandal with this guy. Turns out there is a second Signal chat where he's texting classified material to people who probably shouldn't be seeing this stuff. And this may do him in. He was a disaster from the beginning. We have the first Signal chat controversy. That was when the reporter was invited to the chat. They're talking about the attack on the Houthis, and now we got a second one. You have these kind of headlines. Hegseth discuss attack details and second Signal chat. If you're curious, let's see what Hegseth has to say to defend himself here.
Hey, we're happy to be here at the Easter egg roll, I'll tell you that. Be with the family, beautiful day. And President Trump is changing the country. And he's creating opportunities for families all across America to better their lives. And that's what Make America Great Again is all about. So,
what do you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't get back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies and on hoaxes, time and time and time again.
So does this seem like an innocent person to you, right? When it's like, well, lies, 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 fake news, right? I personally think that the story has some teeth with the two, Signal chats. Questionable whether or not he's still on the bottle. He's, taking his wife with him to, because that was another report where to meetings probably shouldn't be there. We don't know what her security clearance is, but this would be like meetings with foreign leaders, and some of the foreign leaders are like, why is your wife here? Who's this person? That's kind of stuff. He uses his brother as support. It's like I said, it feels like whether or not he's on or off the bottle, who knows. His qualifications are he was a Fox News host, so that's a plus if you're in the Trump camp. Oh my God, you're on Fox News. You're awesome. And he's white and he's a dude. So from the Trump perspective, put all three together, you got the trifecta of qualifications to fit in the Trump administration. That's what they're looking for. White dudes who are on Fox News. But the guy, let's be frank, he's unqualified. And it's been a problem from the beginning. Watch some more and pay attention to his kids' faces, because effectively kids don't have poker faces, and kind of tell the full story when you watch.
And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids.
I don't know. The kids are like, Dad, what are you talking about? And my feeling, this is my opinion on this, is when these, stories break out that you're, leaking information, and then basically people at the Pentagon are, letting people know like, hey, this guy's no good. I'm sure there's conversations at home with mom and dad talking about, where are we going to have to move now? Kids, we may have to change schools. Things aren't working out in the dad's new job. And imagine the kids at school were like, other kids are like, I heard your daddy's a liar, or I heard your daddy's a drunk, right? Right? Imagine that stuff. So it's like I was saying, that the kids' faces for me tell the story, because they hear a different conversation at home than they were seeing dad basically calling everyone a liar and fake news. We're going to see how the story resolves, but the way Hegseth also behaves doesn't seem necessarily like innocent. To me, it looks like he's panicking. That's how I read this. Let's watch some more, and I want to get your read on this as well.
Because, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. This group, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know it, you know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much. Have spoken to the president, and we are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
So I'll just say this for any, parents out there, anyone who are around, kids, etc. Always do your best to be a good role model for young people, right? So I'm not hating on the kids at all. I'm just saying, as an adult, do your best to be a good role model. And effectively, what they're seeing here, what it looks like to me, is that the kids are watching their dad have a meltdown on national TV, which is kind of crazy in itself. So there's that. On top of that, what is Trump saying about this Hegseth situation? Of course, they're going to deny it. My feeling is they're probably trying to get Hegseth to resign, right? Maybe the firing will be too big of a PR damage for them. But they do need to get rid of this guy. He's unqualified and frankly is dangerous. Let's see what Trump has to say about it.
He's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We have the highest recruitment numbers I think we've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news. They just bring up stories. I guess it sounds like disgruntled employees. He was put there to get rid of a lot of bad people, and that's what he's doing. So you don't always have friends when you do it.
So they're just calling it disgruntled employees. Carolyn Levitt tweets out here, pray for Italy. There's a retweet of Donald Trump where it says, Melania and I will be going to the funeral of Pope Francis in Rome. We look forward to being there. Another way you could say it is like, man, we got all this controversy. The market is crashing. Our Secretary of Defense looks to be a loose cannon. Let's get out of the country. Let's change the subject. Woo, right? So that's probably what they're up to. That makes perfect sense why they're leaving as soon as they can. Carol Levitt replies, this NPR story is total fake news based on one anonymous source who clearly has no idea what they are talking about. As the president said this morning, he stands strongly behind Secretary of Defense. Listen to what she had to say on Fox News.
Front page of the New York Times, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth back in the news about staffers had to be dismissed and a second signal chat that took place. Where's the president stand on this?
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement.
So they're basically saying the whole Pentagon is against Hegseth, right? And if the implication would be the whole Pentagon, they're just a bunch of traitors. Why don't they follow Hegseth? From the point of view of the Pentagon, or point of view of many federal employees, as I've told you guys about this before, it's not really left or right. It's not really, serve a particular person. Is you serve the American people. And if you feel like someone is unfit and they're doing dangerous things, such as having these, signal chats, putting out information that maybe for people who shouldn't see it, that's a real problem. And it is very hypocritical for the Trump team who, Trump did his whole spiel on Hillary emails this and Hillary emails that, right? You guys know this. Fox News hammers this stuff all the time. And you have this stuff going on by Hegseth. And then you have a lot of other, we'll just say character flaws with Hegseth. I'll leave it at that. If you've followed the story, the guy's awful. And she's trying to defend it as basically, oh, these are just bad employees, right? That's how they're treating it. And this is the way Trump and Musk talks about their workers as well. They always blame the workers for everything. So let's listen to some more here.
Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland.
So I'll push back. The reason why they nominated Secretary Hegseth is because essentially he was on Fox News kissing up Trump's butt all the time, and he's white and he's a dude. That's why they picked him. They passed over a lot of other people, and we've seen reports on this from the Pentagon officials, stuff like that, where when they pick someone to lead, they'll pass over a lot of other, more experienced, more qualified people, which is unusual for these kind of things. But, that's how they're running the show, right? Just pick loyalists, have loyalty tests, this kind of stuff. And I mean, even, Karen Levitt, she's like the youngest press secretary in history. I think she's only like 27. So really, really young and inexperienced. It matters, guys. Experience matters a lot. For Trump people, they just want loyalty and white people. That's basically what they're looking for, to be further frank. So that's why you're getting what we're getting. They're not looking at everyone. Clearly not.
And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring. So they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
Caroline, I also think it's important to bring up that this chat happened before confirmation. While confirmation was taking place. And also, it just is kind of very curious for me They're not interested in what these people were leaking, which seems serious. They're interested in the Secretary of Defense, who wasn't.
So again, they're just blaming the leakers. Now, this is the other part of the story, which is important. It says 3 other Pentagon advisors, Dan Caldwell, Colin Carroll, and Darren Selnick, were escorted out of the Pentagon and accused of leaking information to the press. The trio then put out a joint statement on X calling their dismissal unconscionable. This was actually the statement here. And I believe there's 4 employees that were out at the Pentagon. We are incredibly disappointed by the manner in which our service at the Department of Defense ended. Unnamed Pentagon officials have slandered our character with baseless attacks on our way out the door. All 3 of us served our country honorably in uniform. For 2 of us, this included deployments to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And based on our collective service, we understand the importance of information security and worked every day to protect it. At this time, we still have not been told what exactly we were investigated for, if there is still an active investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of, quote, leaks to begin with. While this experience has been unconscionable, we remain supportive of the Trump-Vance administration's mission to make the Pentagon great again and achieve peace through strength. We hope in the future to support those efforts in different capacities. Wow. That's the statement. They're also trying to deflect from this scandal, and they're going to talk about Biden and Easter eggs and stuff. Watch, so for real.
But the one thing that is happening is Easter Monday traditionally is an Easter egg roll at the White House. Melania is going to be there. It's always great to see the First Lady. Some members of the cabinet are going to be there. I don't think you're going to need a giant man dressed in a rabbit outfit to direct the president on where to walk. That'll be a little different from past years.
So that's their attacks is, I guess, if a rabbit points, hey, you should go that way, and the president goes that way, I guess that's a bad thing. And it's such an awful thing that someone could possibly do. And so Trump was even talking about it on the Easter thing about, I'm better than Biden. For real. This is directly tweeted from the White House today. Watch this.
You remember the bunny with Joe Biden? Remember? You remember when the bunny took Joe Biden out? He's not taking Trump out anyway.
Wow, that's such a big scandal, the bunny scandal. And Trump's like, oh, do you remember the Biden bunny scandal? That's not going to be a bunny scandal here. It's like, that's their defenses. Attack your employees, call them a bunch of traitors, basically. They claim here the White House is no longer a nursing home. That's a claim from the White House. Listen to Senator Mark Kelly talk about this situation.
Hey, folks, if I had a nickel for every time Pete Hegseth was sharing operational information on separate signal chains, I'd have 2 nickels. And I know that's not a lot, but this is really serious. It's against the rules in the Department of Defense, which he heads. And there needs to be an investigation and accountability for this. We can't have a Secretary of Defense sharing operational information to people he shouldn't. Ultimately, this Secretary of Defense needs to either resign or be fired.
Yeah. So that's, this is Senator Mark Kelly. There's going to be other people that come out and say this as well. I just want you to see that Hegseth's defense, see the look on the kids' faces as he defends himself, and also what the White House is saying. Please share your thoughts on this, and catch you all in the next video.